Hello, everyone. Good day. Good day. How are you? Come on in. Come on in. I hope everybody is having an absolutely awesome day. We are continuing on in our series. So just grab your paper, your pen, your computer, get somewhere to just listen quietly while I discuss with you Banishing Self-Sabotage. Come on in, wave at me, grant StreamYard permission to show me your name. Comment, like, share, tag 3 people. If you are on YouTube, hit that little notification button so you can be notified next time I go live. And I also invite you to subscribe to the channel. Hello, everyone. I am Monique White of Triumph Services, a consulting and coaching firm where I help single professional moms replace their full-time income with a part-time side hustle so they can be at home with their kids, do what they love, and never miss a first again. Hello, Courtney. Thank you for joining. We are going to continue on in our series, Banishing Self-Sabotage. And today we are going to talk about procrastination. Who knows what I'm talking about? Who suffers from that? I am going to be totally transparent with you. I was a procrastinator. I was good at it too. And I excused it by saying I work better under pressure. Now, however, there would be no pressure if I didn't put things off. So we're going to talk about that and tackle that today. So what is procrastination? Procrastination is intentionally delaying or postponing an action. Postponing something, you have a goal, you have a project that needs to get done, but you are intentionally postponing it. You're making up excuses. You're finding distractions so you do not have to tackle whatever needs to get done. It's the chronic avoidance of something. It sometimes, at least for me, I'm going to speak from my standpoint, it was this mental block to get something done. It was this mental block of moving forward. So we're going to discuss, how do we overcome that? How do we overcome that? Well, first, I'm always going to go back to what the Bible says. What does the Bible say about procrastination and time? Because really, when we're procrastinating, we're chewing up time, something that we cannot get back. So in Ephesians 5, it says, and I'm going to read it to you, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time because the days are evil. Making the best use of time because the days are evil. Now, procrastination is actually the opposite of that, correct? Correct. And we all know Ecclesiastes 3. For everything, there is a time and a season, a time for every matter under the sun. We all know that first verse. But Ecclesiastes actually breaks it down into tasks and events, not just general. It goes on. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. And it goes on. I'm not going to belabor the point, but go back and look at that. It goes on. But then it says to us in 13, Also, that everyone should eat and drink and take pleasure in all his toil. That is God's gift to man. You can't get to God's gift if you're not toiling. You can't get to God's gift if you keep putting off the work, the procrastination. The procrastination. So, why do we do these? Why do we do this? Well, typically it's out of fear of something. And we've been hearing this, and it's been a common theme throughout the series that a root of a lot of these behaviors is fear or anxiety. We're thinking that we have to get this done. We got so much time, we got to get that done. And we end up avoiding it and losing our motivation because the anxiety starts to build. It's an avoidance behavior. It's an avoidance behavior. Something is taking the motivation away to get that thing done, whatever that thing is. And I think it's very important to acknowledge that it's a choice. It's a choice that we make. It's not something that we don't have control over. And that's the great thing about it. Because it is a choice, we have the ability to control it. But before we get into that, let's look at the effects of being a chronic procrastinator. And you're giving away your control and your power. You're losing that self-control, that self-regulator, if you will. That's the word I was looking for. And because you're putting off to the next day or to later, whenever that may be, you're piling on your task, and it builds and it builds and it builds, which leads to overwhelm, which in turn is setting yourself up to be frustrated. And that's not what we want to do. That is antithetical to your success, to your ability to elevate, to move forward. And ultimately, like we just saw in the text, we're dishonoring God. We're dishonoring the gift that He has given us. So what do you do? What do you do? And that's really, let's get to it. Let's get to the strategies, right? Well, because it's this fear, this avoidance behavior, whether it's recognized, you're aware of it or not, when you feel that anxiety coming in, when you feel that buildup of, okay, let me find something else to do. I don't really feel like doing this right now. I want to tell you first to breathe. We sometimes take breath for granted. When you're anxious, when you're getting frustrated, we tend to take shallow breaths. And what happens when you're shallow breathing? You're tightening up. You're tightening up. So my first strategy is stop and breathe. When you take that deep breath, it does what? It has the effect of automatically relaxing you. So, number one, breathe. Be intentional about your breath. Second, recognize that you are in control. You are in control. Don't give your power and your authority away to that thing. The Bible says you individually walk in all power and authority, and that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. One of the roots to this behavior is believing you don't have the ability, but you do. Take back that control, take back that authority, knowing that this is within your control and that you do have the ability. Because if it was brought to you, it's brought to you for a reason. It was brought to you because you are already able. Someone has determined that you are able to complete the task. So take control. You need to, start repeating. And I wouldn't even say if you need to. Repeat what the word says about your circumstance, right? Because you're putting that into the atmosphere, and his word shall never return until you void. You are in control. Breathe. Don't tense up. Breathe. Relax. Recognize that you are in control. This is within your ability. And third, like I just said, is recite the word. Put it in the atmosphere. Put it in the atmosphere. Next, set realistic goals. Make sure you are not setting yourself up for failure by making some abstract, grandiose goal. Sometimes in my procrastination period, before I really recognized that what I was doing, I was piling things on so much that I was setting myself up for failure because I'm like, oh, I can get it done. But the bottom line is there are so many hours in the day, and we all got the same amount of time. Time is one thing that you cannot get back. So set realistic goals. And then time management. Time management. Be intentional about achieving those goals. And if looking at it causes those avoidance feelings and behaviors, demotivating factors, for lack of a better way to put it, such as anxiety, such as fear, break it down in small pieces. Break it down in small pieces. A step is still a step. A win is still a win. An achievement is still an achievement. So instead of looking at it as one big thing that needs to get done, break it down. Break it down into pieces where you are still moving and achieving your goal rather than wasting the time that has been given to you and setting yourself up for overwhelm and frustration. And lastly, this may seem like it doesn't need to be said, but make sure you are getting adequate sleep and adequate nutrition. And why do I put that in here? Well, first of all, if you are tired, you're not going to have the clarity of mind. You're not going to be able to focus to get the job done. If you are tired, you're going to be more prone to find distractions. Wanting to take a nap. Feeling like you really just don't have the energy to accomplish what you need to accomplish in the day, in the week, etc. Same thing goes for nutrition. If you are not getting adequate nutrition, you're not feeding those cells, you're not feeding your brain, and all of that, lack of sleep, inadequate nutrition, in combination can exacerbate those avoidance behaviors and also lead to depression. So even though it doesn't seem like that's a strategy to banish procrastination, it actually is. Adequate sleep and nutrition. I hope this helps somebody as you are elevating, expanding your territory, and are focusing on successfully moving forward and banishing self-sabotaging behaviors. Thank you all for joining me. Again, I am Monique White of Triumph Services, a consulting and coaching firm where I do specialize in startup consulting. Oh, Lord have mercy, consulting. If you are ready to start your startup, if you are a single professional mom, just click the link below. Let me switch over. You can schedule a discovery session, a connection session, so we can get you on to moving into your next, get you moving into the success, the vision that God has put before you. Thank you all, everyone. Have an absolutely blessed day, and I will see you right back here as we continue on in this series, Banishing Self-Sabotaging Behaviors. Bye-bye now.